Hi everyone, Mr. Riley here, and today I'm at a historic cemetery that commemorates the life of a forgotten or unsung hero in the American Revolution. Eype Schouten was an enslaved woman who was owned by Garret Storm of the Stormville family. During the Revolution, Garret Storm was an outspoken patriot, and that attracted the attention of Tories or loyalists. According to legend, Tories invaded Garret Storm's house, took him to the attic, and hung him from the attic rafters and left him to die. Behind me is the house of Garret Storm during the American Revolution, and this is where, according to legend, loyalists came into the house and took him to the attic where he was hung from the rafters. He was left to die, if not for the heroic actions of Eype Schouten. The story of this heroic action is only known by the works of a 1920s historian named Helen Wilkinson Reynolds. Although we may never find out the true nature of what happened that day when Eype Schouten may have saved the life of Garret Storm, it does make us ponder many other questions as we start to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution. Garret Storm deserves recognition for his patriotic actions in support of the cause of liberty. Yet today, we must reconcile with the fact that he owned slaves while fighting for freedom from English rule. Garret Storm left in his will instructions to take care of his good and faithful maid, Eype Schouten, but that did not include giving her freedom. Slavery came to New York in 1626 with the Dutch colony, and did not end until 1827. As we approach the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution, our country is coming to grips with how do we tell the story of all Americans. When we think of slavery, we often think of the South with enslaved people working on cotton plantations. But in New York, records show that during colonial times, up to 20% of the New York population consisted of enslaved people from Africa. The slave experience for people such as Eype Schouten was just as traumatic as people who were enslaved in the South. As an enslaved woman, Eype was not given any wages, nor any chance to vote or own land. Her children will also become enslaved under this system that existed until 1827 in New York State. Despite saving Garret Storm and enduring a lifetime of slavery, she is now laid to rest behind me in an unmarked grave. In 2010, the Dutchess County Historical Society and the East Fishkill Historical Society, working with Toll Brothers, arranged for a roadside historic marker to be cast, and its placement seemed an appropriate time to publicly celebrate the renewal of this landmark cemetery. Just down the street from the Four Corners residential development is the blue sign that commemorates the life of Eype Schouten. So be sure to come down and check it out, not too far from the town of Stormville and the Carmel Central School District. There's also a bench here in front of the slave cemetery where you can sit and contemplate the role of African Americans in our nation's history and how do we best tell their story. All right, everyone, so hopefully you learned something about this unsung hero named Eype Schouten. So there's so much of history right here in the Hudson Valley, and it just takes a little bit of time to get out of our car and go explore. All right, bye for now, and don't forget, keep living history.